Dong Zhou now rules Luoyang. But ruling is not the same as controlling. The court officials bow to him in public and curse him in private. They call him a wolf from the western steppes, a barbarian dressed in a chancellor's robe. Dong Zhou knows what they say. He does not care. He trusts only his own soldiers, his own clan, his own fear. Every morning he rides through the capital with 1,000 cavalry at his back, their armor rattling like thunder. He has taught his men a simple rule. If he points at a man, that man dies. No trial, no explanation, no appeal. Dong Zhou's cruelty is not random. It is a system. He understands that terror is a currency. When a group of officials plots against him, he does not execute them quietly. He invites the entire court to a banquet. In the middle of the feast, he orders his soldiers to drag the conspirators into the hall. He has them beaten to death with clubs while the other guests watch. The beating takes a long time. No one eats, no one leaves. When it is over, Dong Zhou wipes his mouth and asks for more wine. But the terror that defines Dong Zhou's rule is not the terror of the banquet table. It is the terror of the body. He orders his soldiers to patrol the streets at night. Any man found outside his home after curfew is cut down on the spot. Any woman who looks at a soldier the wrong way is dragged into the barracks. The capital, once the greatest city in the world, becomes a prison where the prisoners are not allowed to speak. Merchants close their shops. Scholars burn their books. The rich hide their gold. The poor hide their children. In the spring of 190, a coalition of provincial warlords forms against Dong Zhou. Yuan Shao, who escaped Luoyang after the eunuch massacre, declares himself leader of the eastern armies. Cao Cao joins him. So does Sun Jian, the wild warrior from the south. Even Liu Bei, the wandering militia captain, raises a few hundred men and marches east. The coalition calls itself the Righteous Army. In truth, it is a gathering of ambitious men who see Dong Zhou as a wall between them and the throne. They do not hate his cruelty. They hate his success. Dong Zhou hears of the coalition and laughs. He has 30,000 hardened border troops. The coalition has perhaps 50,000 farmers with spears. But the coalition has something Dong Zhou lacks. Time. They can wait. He cannot. His army needs grain. His treasury needs gold. His position in Luoyang requires the court's cooperation, and the court is rotting from within. So Dong Zhou makes a decision that will define his name for 2,000 years. He abandons Luoyang, not just abandons it, destroys it. The evacuation begins in the autumn of 190. Dong Zhou orders the entire court to move west to Chang'an, the old capital, 400 miles away. The emperor goes in a golden carriage. The officials go in wooden carts. The servants walk. But Dong Zhou does not simply leave Luoyang behind. He orders his soldiers to empty the city. Every house, every shop, every temple. Grain, bronze, silk, gold. Everything of value is loaded onto wagons and sent west. Then the burning begins. The soldiers spread out across the city with torches. The imperial palace goes first. Then the government offices. Then the mansions of the nobles. Then the markets. Then the homes of the common people. The flames rise so high that peasants 60 miles away think the sun has risen in the middle of the night. The fire burns for 3 months. When it is done, nothing remains of Luoyang but ash and bone. The greatest city of the Han Dynasty, built over 400 years, destroyed in 3 months. The Yellow River runs black with soot for a year. But the burning of Luoyang is not just an act of destruction. It is an act of war. Dong Zhou believes that by destroying the capital, he destroys the coalition's reason to fight. Without Luoyang, there is no throne to capture. Without the throne, the warlords have no common goal. He is half right. The coalition does fall apart. Yuan Shao and Yuan Shu argue over command. Cao Cao tries to attack Dong Zhou alone and is crushed. Sun Jian manages to reach Luoyang, but he finds only ashes. The righteous army disbands within a year. Dong Zhou has won, but he has won nothing worth keeping. In Chang'an, Dong Zhou builds a new fortress. He builds it not for defense but for display. A palace within a fortress within a city. He surrounds himself with luxury. Gold statues, silk curtains, wine jars as tall as a man. He forces the young emperor, Liu Xie, to call him father. He forces the court to dance for his amusement. He forces the people to cheer his name in the streets. Anyone who does not smile loudly enough is beaten. Anyone who frowns disappears. Dong Zhou has become what he always was. A bully with an army. But bullies make enemies, and his greatest enemy is sleeping in his own house. That enemy is Liu Bei. A young warrior of astonishing skill. Tall, handsome, quick with a spear and quicker with a sword. Dong Zhou adopted him as a son, gave him command of his bodyguard, trusted him with his life. But Liu Bei has a weakness. He wants what he cannot have. In the palace at Chang'an lives a serving girl, beautiful and young. Dong Zhou has taken her for himself. Liu Bei wants her. The girl, whose name the records do not preserve, sees an opportunity. She smiles at Liu Bei when the old man is not looking. She whispers promises she cannot keep. The seed of betrayal is planted. The man who waters that seed is Wang Yun, a court official who has spent 3 years pretending to be Dong Zhou's loyal servant. Wang Yun sees what others miss. He sees that Liu Bei is afraid, not of Dong Zhou's power, but of Dong Zhou's temper. The old man has already thrown a spear at Liu Bei once, missing by inches, cursing him for looking too long at the serving girl. Wang Yun approaches Liu Bei in private. He does not ask for loyalty. He asks a different question. Do you want to live? Liu Bei understands. If he waits for Dong Zhou to die naturally, he will wait forever. If he kills Dong Zhou himself, he becomes a hero. Or a traitor. There is no third path. On a spring morning in 192, Dong Zhou rides to court for a ceremony. His carriage is gold, his robes are silk, his guards are his adopted son, Liu Bei, and 100 picked soldiers. As he steps down from the carriage, Wang Yun's conspirators rush forward with swords drawn. Dong Zhou shouts for Liu Bei. Liu Bei does not move. Dong Zhou shouts again. Liu Bei steps forward. He drives his spear through the old man's chest. Dong Zhou falls to the ground, still alive, still gasping, still calling out for the son who just killed him. Liu Bei watches him die. Then he cuts off the head and holds it up to the crowd. The tyrant is dead. Long live the tyrant. But the people of Chang'an do not mourn Dong Zhou. They burn his body in the marketplace. They pour oil on the flames to make them hotter. They dance around the fire. A fat man, they say. We should have roasted him while he was alive. Wang Yun takes control of the government. He promises to restore the Han. He promises justice. He promises peace. And within a month, he is dead. Dong Zhou's old generals, Li Ju and Guo Si, march on Chang'an to avenge their master. They are not loyal to Dong Zhou's memory. They are loyal to their own survival. Wang Yun has no army to stop them. Liu Bei flees north. The young emperor becomes a hostage again. The Han dynasty does not rise from Dong Zhou's ashes. It sinks deeper into them. Dong Zhou ruled for 3 years. 3 years of terror, burning, and butchery. He killed thousands. He destroyed a city. He broke an empire. But he did not build anything to replace what he broke. The warlords who fought him did not fight for justice. They fought for power. And when he fell, they did not mourn. They sharpened their swords. John Toland once wrote that tyrants are not remembered for their cruelty. They are remembered for the emptiness they leave behind. Dong Zhou left Luoyang in ashes. The Han dynasty left with it. What came next was not a restoration. It was a free-for-all.